All right, hello and welcome to On the Team Bus, where we bring you the stories and adventures of the riders from Team ODZ. Each episode we'll hear from one of our team members and we'll get to know them a little bit better and hear some of their stories both on and off the bike. Everyone should know who I'm sitting next to today, and I'm very excited to be here with him today. And this is Justin Wagner. Thank you very much.
Hey, Coach, how's it going?
Yeah, it's been a crazy ride. So let's make sure we're good to go. So we've got a couple questions. You know how the team on the team bus works, so we're just going to go straight to it. I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of where you're from, and kind of what the Justin Wagner story.
Well, I don't know if we have that much time. Nobody would want to listen to that, but. So I grew up in Spokane, Washington, and came from a family of 8 kids, and lived there for a while. Served a mission in Brazil, did grad school out in Pittsburgh, and I came back to the Spokane area, and that's when I got into cycling. Didn't take me long to find ODZ, and now I bleed blue and orange,
and we've seen pictures.
We've seen pictures to validate that fact. Especially on the bike.
Absolutely.
So anyways, I was in Spokane for a while, and then in the last year and a half, we moved down to Salt Lake, and that's where I currently live.
So I know you have a very inspiring, cycling story that brought you to cycling. Would you be okay to share that?
Yeah. So when I was out of grad school, I started commuting to work. Well, I guess I was pretty big coming out of grad school, like 255 pounds, and so I'm about 180 pounds today, and in high school, I wasn't that heavy. I was a runner in high school, and I was down around the 180 pounds. But I knew that sports weren't going to pay for my college, and so I focused just basically on my degree. And so, anyways, got pretty big. It got to the point where my wife actually, when I was in grad school, was watching episodes of The Biggest Loser while I was doing homework to send a subliminal message.
Oh my goodness!
I'm not kidding. You can ask her. And it worked, though. So I started commuting and got a hybrid bike because road bikes were for sissies. And
road bikes.
You can quote me on that one.
We need to paint that on his bike.
And it sucked at road and it sucked at off road, so it was great.
Oh my gosh! And so that adventure took you kind of how long before you kind of evolved to like I wanted to do more or.
Yeah, the way it started coming off was just easy commuting, and as I got down and down, I started using Strava, and I was like, what are these segments all about? I'm get myself a KOM, baby. And I'm pretty sure from there on out, it just grew into wanting to do racing, and worked my way in the ranks up to Category 2. That's where I race the road.
So you were doing commuting. And what brought you to the indoor cycling world while you were in Washington?
Yeah, so it's pretty cold up at Spokane in the winter times. And so I knew I wanted to keep my fitness up during the winter because we couldn't really ride outdoors. And so I started hearing about this thing called Zwift. And that's actually, pretty early on, I was riding with a buddy outdoors named Rich Rutherford.
Oh my goodness!
He's a...
It's Justin Wagner!
It is.
Autographs later. Autographs later.
Can I have an autograph?
A question from the audience?
Oh, yes. Justin, what's the highest FTP you've ever achieved in your life?
Highest FTP,
what are we measuring?
Next question, what's your CTL? Next question, what's your TS? What's your best watts to kilogram ratio?
All of them.
If you're an orange, would you...
That is amazing.
Well,
Thank you.
Great live studio audience.
Great live studio audience. We'll bring the questions back.
I don't want to know.
Security, please take him outside. Thank you. So we were saying, it brought you indoors. You were in Washington.
Yeah, so Rich and I had been riding in the morning.
Nice.
And we loved chatting, telling stories that weren't true. I mean, this never happens on the bike. We always tell completely truthful stories. Only the full truth about every story ever. And so we were like, well, there's got to be a way we can talk. And so we started trying to figure out, Zwift, we knew we could ride together. We found this video online about, hey, how to use TeamSpeak to talk with each other. So, and then we get on the TeamSpeak channel, and we're like, the Chris Haskell, the guy who recorded the video about how to use TeamSpeak, was in the channel. And we were like, dude, this is awesome. And so we had the same riding times in the morning, and we got to chat a bit. And he said, "Guys, you got to check out these ODZ rides. They're riding this time frame." And I looked, and they were pretty fast. And
I do remember this.
I want a piece of that action.
That was fun. I do remember this way back when. All right. So moving indoors, I'm sure your pain cave setup has evolved, but tell me kind of where it's at now and kind of, where you at with the setup?
Where it's at now is that when we moved to Salt Lake, buying a home was particularly difficult because I was very picky about where my Zwift setup was going to be in the house. In fact, there had to be some type of a detached garage or something to where I could get up at the crack of dawn and ride without waking up my whole family. So I have a heated and insulated third car garage that's got 3 monitors mounted on the wall, full 9 yards. The only thing I haven't put in my new setup yet is the green screen that I had set up well in my old one, but
I think it works.
Yes.
I think it works. I think there's a question from the audience.
Hang on, I don't have anything else.
I have a request, Justin. We need your hot air to come out and activate the hot tub. Can you do that?
We need the hot air to warm up.
I requested my hot air to
Blow into the hot tub too.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. So off the bike, what do you enjoy to do? I mean, you spend a lot of time training through the week, but like, what do you do to kind of release steam and kind of have a good time?
Well, honestly, releasing steam and having a good time is not watching Andy Jenner lick out of my water bottle as he's doing right now. That's definitely not a stress reliever. These clowns, let me tell you. Wow.
You're saying
people watching this must be like, what the heck goes on at team camp? But, now we got, that's as through the eyes of Andy Jenner.
Andy Jenner's eyes. What do you like to do off the bike, away from the bike? Yeah.
Away from the bike? I don't know. Is there any time? Is there anything I do besides on the bike? Besides, obviously I spend time with my family.
Of course.
5 kids.
Oh, dad jokes. That's your thing.
Oh, dad jokes, but that's always on the bike.
Yes. So if you want to hear premium dad jokes, Wednesdays at
Thursdays
at what time?
4:15 a.m. Mountain Standard Time.
Mountain Standard Time.
On the wagon.
Tune into the wagon for all the dad jokes you can handle.
In fact, I got arrested for exercising the other day. Did you know that, Jason?
Let me hear.
They sent me to jail. I was resisting arrest.
Resisting arrest.
That's not even a good one.
That's not even a good
Try
Peanuts from the peanut gallery. Peanuts from the peanut gallery.
Yes! Oh, hey!
Thank you. All right, so this is a loaded question, but racing. Tell me a little bit about your kind of experience and kind of moving up from the ranks from now what is known as like novice up to where you are now at Cat 2.
Yeah, so had a little bit of success. I started in crit racing around Spokane, and then started doing some stage races around Spokane area, like Tour de Bloom, Tour Walla Walla. And I'd say probably my first really big outdoor race performance was when I was Cat 3 in the state road race championship. I actually won from a 30-mile breakaway, which was pretty intense. So the guys from Seattle didn't know who I was. They now know who I am, but they let me slip away and they never saw me again. So
classic Wag.
That was great. That was a good day.
Yeah, and I guess speaking of that time, kind of as you're coming up in Washington, we've had interviews as we've here at camp, and your name, kind of what you've left there, and the scene kind of as it still grows. You played a big part of that, as with some of the races that you helped put on, right? Yeah. Spokane was great. I mean, I really loved the scene there, and I knew that if it was going to continue to flourish, we had to do something to give back to the community. So, I had bounced between a couple different teams, and then when it came time that I was kind of leading the charge, I decided to set up the local club that the other guys are now running now and doing a great job with Team ODZ Spokane. Absolutely. So I kind of I'd say I planted some seeds there, because what they've done is like taking it to the whole next level. I believe so, and we've spent some time with them here at camp, and hearing what they've done and where they've taken it. They've just taken what you've done and just taken it to that next level, which as a larger, group, it's been amazing, and I think you have got to be proud of them, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely. Sure. So, bikes. Tell me about your stable. What do you got? How many bikes you got?
Are we just talking about the currently functioning bikes, or are we also talking about the graveyard?
Let's go. The ones that you can get on and ride. How about those?
Currently.
Currently.
So my current best steed is a BMC Time Machine Road, custom painted for my in real life team, Johnson Elite Orthodontics, out of the Salt Lake area.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's blue, black, and white. I love it. It's an aero road bike with tubeless and disc brakes. It's a dream. I love it. So that's my number one. My number two is one of the previous bikes I had ridden that's now dedicated to the trainer. It seems weird that a felt AR FRD would be dedicated to the trainer.
It's a bit overkill.
But it's the way things worked out. Mm-hmm. So, and then my other steed would be a cyclocross bike that I have yet to actually use for cyclocross.
Yeah.
I've tried it, everything else, and it turns out it's not
good at
anything else.
But cyclocross.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's interesting. All right. So we obviously have a long history here at Team ODZ. I'm going to ask about a couple memorable virtual team moments that you have that have stuck out in yours. Maybe ones that got 20, 30,000 views of, that sort of thing.
I can't think of maybe Team Worlds.
Team World,
maybe. I'm sure nobody's heard me tell this story before.
Well, I'll give you a chance to tell it now.
Okay, so what year was it? 2015.
I want to say 15 or 16.
Okay, so it was a long race. It was like a 3-hour long race,
long time.
And which none of the guys nowadays can race for that long. It's just they're our heroes. Okay. I love you all. I'm just teasing. But anyway, so it was a hard race, and we had, they had organized these teams from all over, and it was like 3:00 in the morning Pacific or something.
It was always so bad. Yeah.
Got to the point that I actually negotiated with my wife to come back early from our Thanksgiving trip so that I could participate in this.
I do remember this.
This is the kind of stuff we do, folks. So I could get up at the crack of dawn to ride my bike. And
race.
It was a great race. Matt Johnson had been attacking a lot. He'd been off the front and setting us up. And in fact, in the last couple kilometers, there was a guy, Phil Diner, who was off the front. We were kind of chasing him, and Matt went and chased him. So with about 1K to go, Phil and Matt were off the front, and I was in the pack, and I just hit the boosters, and I had an aero power up, and it was a glorious sprint finish. It's on the YouTubes. I'm sure we can put the link in the description below. And you can enjoy that. And the best part was everybody was on Discord. We had all the team chatter going.
I remember.
So when I put my hands up and screamed for joy and just was screaming, it was quite a moment to live. So.
It's one of the clips when people ask, what do we do? I play that, and people can see the emotion. They'll see the data, the heart rate, that number power. Even if you knew nothing about what we did, be like, that is an effort. Wow.
Or why do we use Discord? Why do we talk? Exactly that right there.
Exactly. All right. So this is our third team camp that we've had. I've been asking the riders that have come to camp, kind of what are their kind of emotions as they come here, and their expectations, but more so as they experience, other riders. You've seen, we have met in real life a couple different times, but as we get riders here, first off, who surprised you the most? Maybe even just the first time. Let's go back to our first one. Do you remember kind of that didn't match? Or I don't know, some silly story about coming to camp that you feel.
Well, here's what I'll tell you: is I'm waiting for next year's camp to figure out whether or not Matt Johnson actually weighs 100 pounds. That's what I think is going to be the real kicker. I don't think he's 100 pounds like he says on Zwift.
There you go. So there's that. So we'll be waiting with the scale.
With the scale
when he gets here
to see.
That'll be his entry.
In fact, he just told me we were having a little heart to heart while I was in the hot tub earlier, and he said he's coming to camp next year. He said it. I can show you the message right here. So that's
2021.
That's It's on the books. Your spot's reserved, Matt.
There you go, 2021. Excellent. And so I guess we are in day 3 today. How do you feel camp has gone as our 3rd iteration, and how is this camp going for you, and then as a whole?
I think the kind of the biggest things we've shifted from each year is like the location, and really dialing in the location and the rides. And I think you've noticed it. It's just gotten better. Like we know where the stops are, we know where to regroup, we know when the turnarounds points are, and just it's a lot more stable from that perspective. And we found a house that's more on the outskirts of town, so we're not spending a lot of time through traffic. So for me, that's kind of the biggest thing that's evolved. And obviously one of the other major best parts of camp is just getting to know everyone on the team.
Absolutely.
So
yeah,
and just new faces every time. Love it.
Yeah, and we had some. Today was probably our biggest ride. What did we count?
17 or 18.
Yeah,
we split it into 2.
We did split it to 7 and 11. So that's 18. 18 riders today. 17 yesterday. Some pretty decent numbers. Pretty safe overall. Yeah. I think it's a matter of preparation by the core group, and an understanding by the riders, and keeping everyone safe. So I think that's been really good. So thank you for your time today. I think we have really tried to put on a good program for our riders. We tried to, I was talking earlier to another interviewee about trying to put quality rides out into the kind of the Zwift world, making sure that 2.5 means 2.5, and some great communication, and I'm sure a great thanks from all of our riders and all of our members worldwide, I think is indeed for you. So I do thank you for that. Yeah. So other than that, if you have any other questions, you can reach out in the comments below. Justin is available any hour of the day to chat. I can give you his personal number if you'd like to just call him.
How about you just come on the wagon? Okay?
You come on the wagon.
3 hours, come on the wagon. You'll have my ear the whole time.
Yeah, dad jokes galore from what I hear. It's getting popular. It's turning to like an audio only form. Like we're just gonna make a podcast out of a 3-hour wagon ride.
And you're gonna listen to it every week, right?
Yeah,
Jason?
we'll just put it out. We'll just put it out there because it's early for me now that you moved. It's like obnoxious. Like 4 o'clock is early, but 3 o'clock is like obnoxiously early. Andy says if it's still dark when you wake up, it's not morning. So
have
it's
you
still
actually woken up?
Nah, yeah, have you actually woken up? Exactly. All right, well, thank you very much, Justin Wagner. Thank you. And if you have any questions, again, reach out in the comments below. Otherwise, enjoy the On the Team Bus here live at Team ODZ Camp.
Thanks for coming.